Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Source Snack Break. I'm Brittany McLean. I'm the Director of Membership at Source. Today is Wednesday, May 4th, 2022, and we've got some special guests with us today. We have Tim Conway and as well as Chelsea St. James with us, and I'll let them introduce themselves here in just a minute. But while you guys are joining, just to get you started, I recognize a lot of faces or names, I should say, of people who've been to our snack breaks, but if you haven't before, just to let you know, you've been muted automatically, but we definitely still want you to be a part of the conversation today, ask questions, give us your comments as we go through the presentation, and you can do that by using the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. If you want to test it out, let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll be keeping an eye on that as we go through the presentation today. And if there's anything that doesn't get answered as we go along, we'll definitely make sure we come back to those questions at the end and give Tim an opportunity to answer those for you. Also, if you have to step away at any point or want to reference this later or share it with a friend, shortly following the presentation, you will get an email that'll have a copy of the slides as well as a link to the recording. And you can always go back to our event page if you want to see the archives of these. So to get us started, Tim, I'll let you introduce yourself, or Chelsea, if you want to go first, either way, and we'll kind of jump right in because I know there's a lot of good stuff to cover. So I'll let you guys choose.
Sure. I'll go first, knowing Tim's going to share his wonderful news with us today so we can all learn about designing better. So my name is Chelsea St. James. I'm Marketing Director for A&D with Patcraft, and we're very excited to be partnered here with Source as we're asked many questions about how to write a better spec and really looking at the environmental impact of our products. So Tim has been kind enough to be able to join us today and walk us through some of the new items and the best way to create a specification to ensure a cradle to cradle and our return policy. Tim?
Thanks. Thanks for having me and sharing your snack break. So my name's Tim Conway. I manage the sustainability initiatives for Patcraft. It's my role in the company to try to translate what we do as a manufacturer to help our customers achieve their goals, whether it's the firm you work for goals, whether it's the project you're working on, or maybe it's your personal values. Goals around how do we design into health and well-being? How do we design into the collective fight against climate change? And what we're going to talk about today, how do we design into a circular economy? So I'm going to start with a quote from Bill McDonough, the author of Cradle to Cradle. Human beings don't have a pollution problem, we have a design problem. So as we pride ourselves in being part of the design community, we pride ourselves in the work that we do. What have we designed ourselves into? So the industry we're so proud to be a part of, manufacturers included, we're responsible for 160 million tons of construction waste and demo every year. Right? So what we're proud of today is we're part of what's called a lineal economy. Right? We take things out of the planet, we make things, and then we waste. Right? And then we celebrate the fact that we get new projects, and we do that over and over and over again. So how do we start to change the way we design things and design spaces to get out of this lineal economy and into a circular economy? And it's more than just recycling. That is the carbon impacts of things, the carbon impacts of manufacturing, the carbon impacts, as we now call embodied carbon, of products. So I'm going to apologize to all of you as design professionals. I think that you probably have been overpromised and underdelivered in the language of circular economy. You've been through countless lunch presentations. You've heard manufacturers say, don't worry, we have a take back program. This is recyclable. We have all these catchphrases. Well, if that's the case, why are we still having this conversation? Like, why hasn't this become just good design? Why has the circular economy not become a norm? So at Patcraft, it's time for us to stop talking the talk and start walking the walk. And about 3 years ago, I've been trying to crack the circular economy for over 10 years. And I'm proud to say that I've gotten from the point I'd say I was okay at it to I think I'm getting pretty good at it. But about 3 years ago, my company said, blow up what we think about recycling in the built environment, and we need to reinvent a new system because the system we're in today is broken. So At Patcraft at Shaw, we've recycled more carpet than anyone in the world. We're close to 1 billion pounds and nowhere near where we want to be or need to be. So I'm going to do my best to talk about how we have reinvented our recycling program called Return. And I'm going to tell you that the material that we manufacture, the material that you specify, isn't going to come back by itself. So Return to me is an invitation for our clients to participate in a circular economy in the work that we do together. So I've broken it down into 5 different steps, and I'm going to go through each one of these as design signals in actions of where we can change the way we work together. And it's identify, specify, introduce, execute, and report. So I can promise you that every time you're working with a Patcraft rep and you order a sample, you're going to get a weird question. Right? They're going to ask you a question maybe you're not familiar with. Maybe typically it's like, what's your budget, design direction, performance, speed to market? All of those things are critical. We're going to ask to say, hey, is there any way you could help us find out what's currently on the floor? I'd like to see if there's an opportunity to reduce your project's landfill consumption, reduce our project's carbon impacts, and see if there's an opportunity for us to recycle that material. And we're going to ask to say, can you take a smartphone photo of the backing system? Can you allow us to get into that space? Is there a project manager we could talk to? All we need to do is to get that identification to see if there's an opportunity, right? And in the bottom, if it's EcoWorks, we take the product back at no charge. If it's a PVC-backed carpet tile, there is some outlets for that, although those are thinning out a great deal. But if it's a cushion urethane-backed carpet tile, most of the outlets for those materials is downcycled waste to energy. So prepare yourself for that weird question, and hopefully you can engage with us to identify where the opportunities are at. The next step, and I think is where we've found the most success. When it comes to recycling, it seems like where we have fallen down from what I have found from manufacturers, A&D, owners, contractors, I think that we've always wanted to do this, but it seems like we're always trying to do the right thing at the wrong time. Like it's right action, worst possible time. Because we only think about recycling when it's time to throw something away. We need to get ahead of that. So as I've talked to general contractors and I've talked to spec writers and A&D professionals, it seems like people just didn't know how to bid the project. They didn't know how to do the work. So what we've developed is a carpet tile reclamation specification. When we find the opportunity through the identification stage, when we put carpet tile recycling into the specification, it becomes part of the bid. When it becomes part of the bid, it becomes part of the project. And what we've done with this specification is it's overwritten. It's overwritten for the intent that when a GC or a demo contractor or a flooring contractor reads this, one, they know how to bid the project and they know how to do the work. So I know that seems simple, but I can tell you over the past 2 years, when we've done these 2 stages with our A&D partners and even our end use owners, our success, the trajectory of our program has been great. So this is just saying, hey, take it up off the floor, stack it 38 to 44 inches high, contact the manufacturer, they'll come pick it up at no charge. So the next step, and this seems simple as well, but I don't think a lot of people realize this, that manufacturers reps don't really talk to GCs, right? We talk to you, architects, designers, we talk to flooring contractors, but the GCs, there's that disconnect. Simply introducing the GC to my team at Patcraft and my post-consumer collection team, we just set up a call with them and say, hey, let us know. What's your flow of work? What's the pace? What size truck do you want us to pick it up on? Do you need pallets? All of these things. And once the GC knows there's someone to talk to, their guard comes down and they get a little bit more excited. They maybe go from pushing back to saying, yeah, I think we can do this. So another simple step, but it's been critical in our success. And I can tell you this in the future, that if you're going to get some pushback from a GC, they're going to say, well, this is going to cost us too much. I'm like, okay, well, how much does it cost to throw away a square yard of carpet tile? How much does it cost to throw away a ton, 2,000 pounds of carpet tile, right? So what we're doing is we're trying to create a baseline for recycling at no charge with Patcraft to that place called away. How much does that place called away cost in a project? And I'm never going to say it's going to be a big cost savings, although to our peers that are in Seattle, where it's $185 a ton, to where I live in Columbus, Ohio, where it's $39 a ton. So I don't think it's going to be a big cost savings, but I can say with confidence that I believe it's a low cost, no cost comparison. So in situations in markets where we've had that feedback, we've created data where we can say it actually cost you in Newark, New Jersey, 56 cents a yard to throw that away. So yeah, the labor is going to be a little bit different to put it onto a pallet and to take it down to a dock door. But you were already going to do this work anyway. This is a picture of a demo crew doing the carpet recycling. They were going to do the pictures on the left already. The extra labor is simply there to palletize the material, get it onto a truck, and their job's done. The next is execute. I think we do a great job. I hope you think we do a great job of getting material to your projects. We do a great job in the reverse distribution as well. So at any given time, our company's one of the largest independently held fleet of trucks. We've got distribution centers throughout the United States that if you're in Portland or if you're in Seattle and there's 1,000 yards of carpet, we're not going to take it from Portland back to Georgia. We're going to take it up to our distribution center in Kent until we get full trailer loads and take that material back. And then we're going to celebrate our success. If we go through all these steps, what can we tell our customers? What can we tell our contractors? And we're going to be able to say that at the end of this project, through partnership with Patcraft in a circular economy, we have reduced your project's landfill consumption. I can't read the font on this. I'm going to make up a number. 27,000 pounds. And by recycling that material into carpet tile, right? 100% of what we collect goes back into future projects or products. And by recycling that back into future carpet tiles, we've eliminated our carbon footprint by this many pounds, which is the equivalent.
Oh, looks like we lost you just for 1 second, Tim. I think you're back. Maybe. I'm going to turn off my video to maybe save a little bandwidth real quick, but hopefully we'll get Tim back in just a second. Let's see. Tim, if you can hear me, it looks like you're muted. I'm not sure if you're reconnected yet.
That in the equivalency of how many acres
that's
of
all
trees
good, no worries.
That would be equal to, or how many gallons of gasoline or miles not driven. So we can provide the data as a follow-up as well. So what are the impacts of carpet recycling? Like, what values does this bring? What dimensions of, what design signals does this say that it delivers to your project? One, we can reduce
so cool.
landfill
I love
consumption.
that.
We can increase the recycled content of future products. And in doing that, what we're doing as we are now looking at the embodied carbon values of things, choices we make and what we specify. Circular economy is our plan to reduce our product's embodied carbon footprint. This isn't part of the thing, but if you look at the carpet tile from Patcraft, 5 years ago, we had an embodied carbon footprint of somewhere around 12.8 kilograms of greenhouse gas per square meter. Today, that's down to about 4.7. That's a big jump. And how are we going to get from 4.7 to 3.7 to 2 is through the work that we do through circular economies. The more material we get back, the less we extract out of planet. So it's really our collective effort, not only in landfill reduction, but in carbon reduction as well. So we want this back. This makes financial sense to my company. Right? As we have seen price increases, the appetite for us to get this material back has never been stronger. We just invested in a new carpet tile recycling line. From a supply chain standpoint, we want to get this product back as well. So we can't get this material back by itself, but if we can change the way we work together and we can start to specify into circular economies, right? And how the choices that we make today, can we ask our manufacturers to say, is this product, it's at the end of its time of service, can this be recycled? Are you currently recycling this as a manufacturer, right? Can we add that to the conversations we have? And can you help us find out where our material is as well? So I think that's at my 15 minutes if we wanted to have any questions.
Absolutely. Perfect. That sounds great. Yeah, if you guys all, I'm going to try to turn the video back on. Hopefully we won't lose you. But if you guys have questions for Tim, I'd love to see those in the chat. And while I'll give them a minute to type here, I have a question. I'm curious whether it's an example within, again, Carpet or the company itself.
So
but
from a
you mentioned
economy,
the
most
circular
of our
economy.
success
Do you
has
have
been at
any
the owner
examples
level.
of
It's
some
Microsoft.
success stories or things that you are kind of
last
excited
year.
about that you've seen recently?
It's Google. It's
that you could
those
share with
customers
us?
that have been driving this. But where in the past 2 years since we've introduced return is where I'm seeing the activity at the A&D level. Probably one of the coolest is Indianapolis, Indiana, right? Pam Schott, who is the owner of Pam Francis with Schott Design, about 3 years ago, dove into circular economy, became consumed by this, and said everything that we specify out of this firm from here on out is going to be cradle to cradle certified because we want to trust it'll be recycled. They specify over 1 million square feet of space a year, and there's not an inch of carpet tile that's hit the landfill. So she has changed the behaviors of the general contractors, the demo contractors, the building owners, and millions of pounds of landfill diversion happened because a designer raised her hand and said, I want to work differently. You know what else is amazing? That's a city and by the way, I'm biased because I grew up professionally in Portland, Oregon, and live in Columbus, Ohio now. But this is happening in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is not in Seattle, Portland, San Francisco,
That's
Boston.
amazing.
Is that this conversation is getting to scale, and the work is as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, you're right. There, you can definitely have a special appreciation for the Pacific Northwest. I feel like it's sort of early adopters of that, but it's really exciting to see that it is, something that people are paying more attention to and taking serious and winning more business, hopefully, because of that and really standing out. It looks like we got a shout out from Melissa, who says Indianapolis is her hometown. So she loved that anecdote. Yeah. That's very, very cool. I'm definitely going to look up
the specification is written, and it's not
Rachel
a piece of
asked
marketing
if
material.
you guys have resources, like an example of how to write into the spec for recycling.
Website,
is that something that they can get from your website, or how could they access that? Yeah, definitely. And we will get that out. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. And we still have a few more minutes if you do have questions coming in. I guess one thing to go back to, you talked about kind of doing the introduction to the GCs. Are there any other common objections or suggestions that you have for making that kind of the reason for that intro? You shared a little bit about, talking about
the earlier we get ahead of the
pricing.
The earlier we get ahead
have there been any other
surprising
benefits that you've seen in the projects, maybe where you've gotten involved
and
early
we've got
with the GCs?
Demo contractors. Madrone is a great demo
to
contractor in Northern California. It's kind of like, it is easier for us to recycle this carpet tile with you than it is to take it through traffic and try to get it to a landfill. So there's a lot of successes with that. And Fletcher Farayat, thank you very much, Christine. We just recycled over 1,000 yards of our EcoWorks coming out of their office refresh. By the way, that's the second time we've recycled carpet out of FFA, because I was the rep that did it. I'll show my age, a long time ago.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. I love that. Yeah, that's so cool to see. And I think it's such a neat thing. And I really appreciate you taking the time really to talk through the steps. I think it's something, again, a lot of people are aware that it exists, but really putting it into action, it does take a little extra planning on the front end, but the impact that it really can make, I think, is huge. And so I really appreciate you spending the time here to walk through that with us all. I don't see any other questions, but if you guys have, again, more questions, we can definitely connect you with your local rep. You can find them in the rep finder on Source. And again, if you are interested in looking, especially if you are in one of our locations where we have the physical library, we've got all kinds of great Patcraft samples there. Again, we love the fact that you can come to a central library and check those out, bring them back to us. We also like to recycle our samples, and we've got all kinds waiting for you. So if you need any of those, definitely connect with us. But Tim and Chelsea, thank you so much. I thought this was a great presentation, and I hope that everybody walked away learning something. And again, we'll follow up afterwards. You'll get a copy of this presentation and the recording. And if you need any help, again, connecting on anything that you learned today, just reach out to the Source team, or again, you can use our rep finder and look up your local rep to help you out. But I hope you guys all have a great rest of your afternoon. And thank you again, Tim, for presenting and sharing this today. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again next week. Bye. Thank you.